Hey guys, welcome to my video. Today we're going to go over how to use a manual lens on a Pentax DSLR camera. The reason why you might want to do something like this is because, well, a lot of you are shooting on things like these, Quantum-Rays, Sigmas, Tamarons. They're not bad, don't get me wrong. These are older versions, so they're nowhere even close to the newest stuff out today. They're autofocus, they're great, but not everybody's got thousands and thousands of dollars to shell out for some of the top-end lenses that are out there, like the 7200 2.8. If you get a name brand version, 1800 bucks easy. The 24 to 70 2.8, things like that. So manual lenses are a great way to get introduced to some quality glass for an affordable price. And if you learn to use them properly, you can actually do a lot of really cool things. But a lot of people, when they move into this, for instance, say you picked up that new Rokinon 14 millimeter 2.8 to go do some astrophotography. Um, the thing is, a lot of people, especially on Pentax, don't realize you actually have to tell the camera how to use that lens. It's not going to do it for you. So with that said, let's explain some of the differences and why that happens. So on a fully automatic lens, such as this here, you'll see that we have some pin connectors here that are actually going to talk to our camera body and tell our camera body what our f-stop is, things like that. It's got the mount or the little hole there to control the autofocus. So it's able to talk to the camera body back and forth and say, okay, well, I'm gonna say in my camera I want to set it on my dial to like say 5.6. Okay, it's gonna say, okay, we're setting the aperture to 5.6. Now let's meter so that we can get a proper exposure. And then if you're in AV mode, it'll automatically calculate out your shutter speed. So when you're using a full manual lens, such as this guy here, the Pentax M1.4 50 millimeter, you're unable to do that because there are absolutely no pins on the back of this lens here. None whatsoever at all. So, with that being said, now we got a speck of something in there. Oh, maybe that's just on my hand. Anywho, so when you're using a lens like this, there's absolutely no talking back and forth between the camera body and the camera lens. So we have to tell the camera how to use this. Well, in order to do that, they came with these handy-dandy aperture rings on them long before the cameras were just able to tell the lenses what to do and how to do it. So as you can see here, we have an aperture ring that allowed us to set our aperture blades. Let me take this off the back so you guys can see that. To set our aperture blades to exactly what we want. So instead of us telling the camera what to set it to and it setting it, we had to do it manually. Okay, with that being said, we now have to tell our Pentax camera exactly how to go about using this said aperture ring. Alright, so in order to do that, you're going to take your handy dandy Pentax DSLR. In this case, I'm using the Pentax K5 IIS with a just cheap 28 millimeter Sears Auto on there, 2.8. Anyways, so on our camera, we're going to go into the menu setting here. First, we'll wake it up. And then you're going to want to come over to the custom menu. Now, the custom menu is all the way at the far side, so you can just kind of hit the white balance button to jump right over. And it actually surprisingly puts us right on the page we need to be. At the very bottom there, you'll see number 27 says using aperture ring. So we're just going to scroll down. We're going to hit the OK button in the center. Now it's going to have two options here. Number one is prohibited. Number two is permitted. I know it's kind of hard to see that with this webcam. So what we want to do is absolutely set that to permitted. Now by doing that, shutter will release when the aperture ring is not set on the A position. So this will allow the camera to know that you have a lens on here that you are going to fully control the aperture for, and it will take a picture based on that. So we click OK, we hit our menu button again, right over here, and now we're back and we're ready to take a picture. Now the reason I have this cheap little 28 millimeter Sears Auto on here is because it's probably got the most prominent Ricoh pin freaking thing on here to pop that bad boy into auto mode. So in order to get it out, we just hit it again, and now I have full control over my manual lens for my aperture settings. So when I am changing my aperture on this lens, the camera doesn't know what the hell I'm doing because I'm not in auto mode anymore. But it will still allow me to stop down meter. So as you can see here, I'm set to 0.03 seconds. When I stop down meter with the green button, it goes to 13 seconds. Yep, 13th of a second. Sorry, not 13 seconds. So based on the information that I've put in up here with my aperture ring, it's stop down metered, and you can actually watch it do that. You see how it moved that aperture ring inside there? And now if I set it to something, say like the F22, you'll see this thing stop down fully, watch. So you can see how it closes down when I hit that. It knows what my aperture, well, it doesn't really know what my aperture is, but it shuts it down based on what I have set on my ring to get a proper exposure count. Okay, now with that said, that does bring up the question of knowing your exposure metering modes. So make sure you know what spot, center weighted, and the multi-segment is, and which one's going to be best for you in whatever situation that you're in. I tend to leave mine on spot, but there's occasional times where I'll put it to multi-segment or onto center weighted. Also, too, which focus points and stuff you're using as well. Spot goes great with the center focus point there. Um, so just keep that in mind. Know your camera, know your settings, know how it all works together and how it all ties into the exposure triangle. But by doing this, you're effectively taking a manual lens, you're using stop-down metering, which then basically effectively makes that manual lens work as if it was an AV mode, because it's going to automatically calculate out your shutter speed for you. You just set the aperture you want, make sure that your focus is locked in, stop-down meter, and take the photo. So it's really not that much more complicated than, say, an autofocus lens. Yes, you have to manually focus, and you have to stop down meter. It's really only 2 steps more than what you would normally do. And you get to use some really sharp lenses, not this one in particular, but like the 50 millimeters and things like that. And you get to use them to their fullest ability on, a newer system. Now, a lot of you say, well, why use it on a new system when you have, all these new great lenses out and all that? And that's fine. I mean, I will not deny, if you have the money, pick up some of those new lenses. They're wonderful. They make your life really easy. But if you're like me and like a lot of other people that this is just a hobby for, this is a great way to get some really good glass. It's going to last you a long time. A lot of these lenses are older than, I am. So, I'm 26 and some of these lenses are older than that, and they still function perfectly. So again, the basic principle of this is you got to make sure you have the aperture ring allowed to be used inside the camera body, especially if you do not have the auto mode here, like where I can lock it in and then I can control and use AV mode or TV mode or TAV mode or whatever with my camera, just like I would with an autofocus lens, and then I just have to manual focus basically at that point. So if you don't have that auto mode, say on like the Pentax A 50mm 1.7, which has that, say maybe you've got the Pentax M 50mm 1.4, it's not going to have the auto mode, so you have to be able to stop down meter, and you have to be able to properly set the camera up to use the aperture ring that it has. Okay, so I hope that helps some of you guys. I hope that alleviates some of the issues. The reason I made this video is we ran across an issue with somebody locally on a Facebook group that I'm a part of. They bought a Rokinon 14mm 2.8. They went to go take some pictures of the northern lights, and unfortunately, their pictures came out dark. Well, they had set the lens on A, thinking that it was on automatic mode, and they set the aperture to 2.8 inside the camera. But because the Rokinon 14mm 2.8 does not have contacts to talk back and forth between the camera and the lens, it was basically shooting the picture at f22, which was the next closest setting that it was set to, instead of the 2.8 he was hoping. So I just wanted to quickly and briefly go over exactly how this worked and why some of the benefits are of knowing how to use the manual lenses for your new Pentax camera. I hope it helped you guys out a lot. I hope you enjoyed watching this. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to give me a shout out down in the comments below, and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. With that being said, guys, go out, explore, try new things. Make sure that you're not afraid to jump into the full manual modes, or even use the full manual lenses, because I will tell you right now, you are missing out on a lot of really cool opportunities and really cool lenses to play with if you discard them as just old junky trash items. I can tell you right now, some of my best-selling photos, some of my best pictures have come off of my manual lenses that I've had over the years for my film cameras. And even on my DSLR recently, this guy right here got me a photo of a waterfall that has just blown up locally here. This is the Tamron SP 60-300 23A model number. Really a phenomenal lens. Highly recommend to pick that up if you guys ever find one cheap enough. But freaking wonderful. So again, yes, while it's nice to have, you know, those $1,800 lenses, I can tell you right now, there's a lot of opportunity, and this will just get your creativity flowing a lot more when you have a wider selection to choose from that you can actually afford to get. So just make sure you do your research online, find the lenses that are going to work best for you. Just remember, with Pentax systems, all lenses are stabilized because our sensors are stabilized, so we don't have to worry about, you know, getting an unstabilized lens and not being able to use it effectively. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, if you need to leave any questions or comments, put them down below, and I will talk to you guys next time.